And good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very special primetime edition here of Show Blitz here, the Mass Steel podcast, as we are counting down in about a little over 45 minutes, less than 45 minutes away. We'll be seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Miami, looking to go to 3-5 for the season right now. The Browns lost earlier to the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore in the AFC North right now, and they are currently on a 3-game losing streak since their last win was versus Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday Night Football right now. They lost that game, tight one, 23-20 in favor of the Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens, as a result, they are top the AFC North, tied with the Bengals, but the only tiebreaker head-to-head after beating them a few weeks back on Sunday Night Football. And the Ravens are looking to take command for right now. But the Steelers, for the moment, they're no longer at the bottom of the division right now. Both teams, the Steelers and the Browns, are 1-1 as of right now in the AFC North. And don't forget the Bengals right now, they are currently on a bye this week. So good, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this week's action of NFL football here, as we are right now in week 7 right now. Steelers are really trying to get going right now with their season. And so definitely been a little fork in the road right now. We're going to find out, can they make it a little bit respectable right now, go 3-4. Then the next week they got to go against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is not going to be an easy task right there. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had their struggles facing the Eagles all time and have not won a game in Philadelphia. You have to look all the way back. Last time they won a game against the Eagles in Philly was 1967, October 1st, 1960. No, excuse me. The last time they beat the Eagles in Philadelphia, you have to go all the way back to October 24th, 1965. The Steelers won that game by a touchdown. 20-14 was the final score in that contest. That'll be next week's game, which would be a noon kickoff game right now for that week. But as we look at for the time being right now, definitely some interesting stuff going on right now. You see how it's happening right now. I mean, a lot of people still anticipating it. Probably Mike Tomlin having his first losing season. We shall wait and see. But at the end of the day, for right now, I mean, listen, after all this right now, TJ Watt having his return delayed a little bit. They're anticipating him to come back around the Eagles. But remember, he also had to have, I think, knee surgery. He had to clean up some stuff. Remember, that was a game in the preseason, which he injured versus the Lions right there. That was the only game we know the date that he played. But for the time being, the biggest news going into this game, Kenny Pickett update, who actually won the concussion protocol after being knocked out of the game last week versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and which Mitch did an incredible job for the Steelers. I mean, big time show up for him right there in that contest. He would finish the game in that situation right now, 9 of 12, going for 144 yards, a touchdown with no picks, only got sacked one time. And you know what? I really got to be encouraged right now. The Steelers' run defense, for the most part, has been slowly holding its ground as of late, no pun intended. I mean, when you really truly look at it right now, the last 3 games, they kept it under 100 yards, 2 out of those 3 games, giving up on an average about 98 points yards per game. So that's a little bit encouraging right there. I know Brian Flores, who was brought in for the Steelers to be assistant with the linebackers coach. But at the same time, too, you got to really keep a cap. They're starting to find their stride right now as it goes along. The only part of this now, too, the offense has its struggles big time as of late. As you can see, and more particularly the disappointing thing, I mean, people can make the argument, sometimes the Harris is still not fully 100% healthy. Remember, he's got that Lisfranc injury he's been dealing with all year. If he's been playing with a plate in there, but when you look at the rushing game for right now, both teams are struggling running the ball right now. Steelers are 26th in the league with only 520 yards for the season off 143 attempts. That's barely over 3.5 yards a game. While the Dolphins have 487 yards off 126 carries. They are ranked 27. So the Steelers are ranked 21st. The Steelers are ranked 26th, and the Dolphins are ranked 30th. And we'll wait and see how everything goes. But other than that, right now the Pittsburgh Steelers. Speaking of which, as we look at for the time being, they're facing the Miami Dolphins right now, and they'll be facing them tonight. They have the all-time series lead head-to-head, 13-11 versus the Miami Dolphins right now, as we speak. And the last time these two teams met was 3 years ago on Monday Night Football. So only fitting that these two teams will meet on a primetime stage, this time being Sunday Night Football. And we all remember what happened in that game. Mason Rudolph was the quarterback who was filling in for an injured Ben Roethlisberger right there. Threw for 251 yards, 2 touchdowns with 1 interception, and went 20-36 in that game. And for the most part, Mason Rudolph, we know what happened a few weeks later, got hurt versus Cleveland Browns, and he's never been like the same since when being called upon to come into a game ever since that Browns fiasco. For the most part, for like a starter wise, as we look at, he is what 1-1-1, so a win, a loss, and a tie for him. And we'll see how this figures out tonight. Right now, Pickett will be getting the starting nod for tonight. I did think for a moment, was there going to potentially be a quarterback controversy? But after listening and watching around the league, especially in the Pittsburgh media too, on Odyssey, 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh. Bob Papiani made up an interesting point where, like, if you did decide to go back to Mitch Trubisky, in the event that he did decide to start getting hot and like getting some rhythm, this team got some huge momentum. And the trade deadline is coming up November 1st at 4 p.m. Eastern. Would you consider listening to offers right there? For a guy for Mitch Trubisky. And the only part I was a little puzzled at is right now, because I understand the logic. You don't want to mess with a quarterback's confidence, but you don't want to lose the respect of the locker room. You don't want to get players frustrated. I don't think Mike Tomlin will try and do that again. But here's thinking I could say right now. Mason Rudolph, with his time ticking down, one would think if you're going to have a quarterback other than Kenny Pickett go in, why not have Mason Rudolph? Listen, his future clearly is at the end right now. There's obviously just no plans. He's just being a number 3 on the depth chart. It's not promising plans. He only signed a 1-year extension. This is his last season, with the Pittsburgh Steelers as we know it. And I just feel like for right now, why would you not try and get something in return for him? Bob was telling me that he was not active the previous games. And I would just think for right now, Mason Rudolph, who's in the final year of his extension right now, he's only accounting for over $4 million cap number. I would just feel, because they did state that they did not want to entertain giving them up for a late round pick. This is during the preseason or at the conclusion of it. I would think for right now that Mason Rudolph will give you a better situation pass-wise. Now, he's not as mobile, of course, Mitch Trubisky. He's got the legs, but if you're looking to get something going and try and build some momentum for, and who can get something decent in return, maybe a 4th or 5th round pick, that might be worth it. Because Jeremy Fowler, too, of ESPN, was also saying, too, that aside from the Chase Claypool trade rumors right here, he believes that there could be 2 landing spots for a guy like Mason Rudolph for to be a top backup. to either the Rams, who has past coordinator Zach Robinson. He was an accomplished quarterbacks coach at Oklahoma State right there, or the 49ers right now behind Jimmy Garoppolo. Remember, Trey Lance suffered a season-ending right ankle injury week 2 versus Seahawks. That was the 49ers home opener. And I would just think for right there, why would you not start him if it's not to be Trubisky? I mean, and then Kenny Pickett, who was a full participant in practice all week, cleared out concussion protocol and is clear to play for tonight. I just think that's just a little bit too risque, if you would ask me. Especially when you got the players, you need to keep paying attention to the league, how they're looking out for the overall safety of the players and concussions in general. Because look at like Tua Tagovailoa right now, who's been missing in action for quite some time. I want to say for him, when you got Tua here, let's see, his last action for the moment, when you got a guy like Tua on your team, his last start this season, and we're confirming it right now, came against the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. And a lot of people were pretty upset how he left the Bills game a few days earlier, which is a noon game, who landed funny and kind of limped off the field. And they said it wasn't a concussion, it was a back. Well, when you have a spinal, when you have somebody with the spine right there, that does fall into the area of getting checked out for a concussion. When you have that's part of your back, that should have been handled properly for a concussion protocol. He makes his return tonight right now for the season as we look at Tua Tagovailoa for right now. He is 3-1 on the season right now, looking to keep his team back on track. And there you go. Once again, for those of you tuning in, this is the Show Blitz, Steelers versus Dolphins pregame show here on the Meta Steel podcast. Once again, you guys can follow me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter at MetaSteelCGR and on Instagram at MetaSteelNation. So what say you? Let's just say, hypothetically, if Pickett was not clear to play tonight, would you entertain having Mason Rudolph go in there and have him build up some momentum, polish him up a little bit? Even if they're playing hot football with him and he's doing real solid, I think that'll be the guy you will want to listen to trade offers for. It makes no sense keeping him on this roster the rest of the way. And this is where I kind of question Tom in this regard, because you want quarterback competition throughout the preseason and going all offseason too. I mean, through training camp for the preseason, and here we are. It's just a little bit unwise for right now, because I tell you what, this game right now is going to say a lot about their season. Remember, the only differences was when you had 8-8 seasons under Mike Tomlin twice, back in 2012 and 2013, once again in 2019. The difference was with all those teams right there, when you actually think about it, they actually had an electric offense in 2012 and 2013. You had the killer bee run right there to pick up a defense that was in the mode of recycling. And you had something to work with offensively. Defense, you had to go for some quite growing plays. It took them at least until 2016 for them to really start sharpening up in the form and really start playing lockdown defense little by little. I'd say 2017 at the latest. But my point is, when you look at this team from top to bottom, the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, I mean, from all the sides, with this here, this lineup, this talent on here is not really that good. I mean, who do you really got on here? I mean, on the offense, Mike Tomlin's been saying he's junior varsity. I mean, you got some good guys right now, some rookies, wait and see. But like George Pickett, for example, who's really doing good, playing the right side of the receiving position. Then, of course, you got second-year tight end Pratt Freiermuth. I mean, the funny thing is, I mean, the only guy that's got any touchdowns for this team is Chase Claypool. He's only got one for the season. So you look at it right here. I mean, of course, the offensive line is still the verge still out. I think they're slowly starting to gel a little bit. And what I mean by that, though, too, when you look at the offensive line for right now, I mean, like look in particular as far as like sacks. They've only allowed 13 sacks right now for the season, which ranks 17th. So that's pretty good right there. So I can live with that. I mean, that's a little bit. The problem continues to be is in the running game. 21st in the league right there. A lot of people expect this to be a lot more better to help out the style that Matt Canada continues to put out. That is not the case. So let's go look at Chase Claypool, the other trade rumor that was buzzing all week from our good friend Jerry Fowler, senior NFL reporter for ESPN. He said the Packers are looking for potential wide receiver help on the trade market, and Chase Claypool could fit that bill. His production has declined since his sensational rookie season, where he and Juju Smith-Schuster back in 2020, which was 2 years ago, he was tied for first with 9 touchdown receptions and was third on the team with 889 scrimmage yards that year. Second amongst receivers in touchdowns the following season, last year, with 3 touchdowns, and is the only wide receiver this year with a touchdown. The other one, for the time being, when you look at the other guy who's got a touchdown, he's not a receiver, but he's a tight end, is Pat Freiermuth. Najee Harris has 2 touchdown receptions. Just keep that in perspective for right there. And that's just where, like, you get a little head scratching sometimes, wondering why. And to be honest with you, too, I think, for most, I mean, Steelers for right now, they're wanting something similar from people are speculating out there is that when we look at it, I mean, from this year, Bill Huber of Packer Central says the Steelers will be looking for a similar package what the Panthers received from the 49ers for Christian McCaffrey, which went down this past Thursday evening after 10 Eastern. That was reported by Adam Schefter of ESPN. And where the 49ers sent the Carolina Panthers this coming year's draft, 2023, a second, third, and fourth round pick, along with a 2024 fifth round pick for Christian McCaffrey. And that's what pretty much what they sent them. I mean, he's on that team as we look at it. And for the moment, I mean, I'm not sure if a guy like Chase Claypool is worth that type of deal, to be honest. Seriously. I don't think you're going to get that much high. If anything, it'll probably be something low ball starting at minimal with a third round pick. I'm not sure if he's that high. They'll probably give him at least, if they're lucky, a fourth round pick. I mean, that wouldn't be worth it. But they were willing and desperate. I mean, you look at once again right now, Green Bay Packers, who lost earlier to the Washington Commanders right now. They are 3-4 this season, and they're currently on a 3-game losing streak, losing to the Giants, Jets, and Commanders right there after starting off the season 3-1. And you'll figure a guy like Matt LaFleur would get things figured out for the green and gold, but that doesn't seem to be the case as of yet. And that's just the reality of the situation right now. I feel right now that Chase Claypool, like I said, I just don't feel like he's on that type of level where it's like he's going to get decent compensation return. All he just had up to this point was a great, phenomenal rookie season, and that's about it. I'd like to hear your thoughts right now. If you agree or disagree with me, feel free leave a comment here on the Facebook page. At Mass Steel Nation, you can just search Mass Steel Podcast. And one quick update, by the way, too. Just want to give you guys a heads up. I know Facebook has transitioned to Meta over recently. Starting in the next week or two, I will be moving over to YouTube Live. I upload a lot of my podcasts right there. So if anything, I'm not going to be streaming live on Facebook anymore. I'll keep my Facebook page up here, and I'll share my podcast onto this page. So if you guys want tune into any live streams, check me out on YouTube Live, okay? You just search Men Steel Podcast. I'll pop right up right there. Got a lot of great videos right there if you guys want to check out in the past right there. So let's keep it moving along right here. Like I said, then you also got to look at the rest of the Steelers receiving depth behind a guy like Chase Claypool right now. I mean, one of the people we're looking at right now is Deontay Johnson, which, by the way, signed a 2-year extension this past offseason, which is for about $36.71 million, which includes a 17.5 signing bonus with 27 guaranteed and an average annual salary of over $18.36 million, while $19 million was guaranteed at signing. So far, the Steelers have not made any indication they're willing to deal him yellow. I mean, Claypool by the trade deadline, as we look at. But like I said, I'm just not sure if Chase Claypool is going to get that much in return for the time being as we look at it here. So let's move on right here. Roster updates. We already know that Kenny Pickett, he is cleared to play for tonight's game. When asked about this week, he was saying that I went through it with the doctors and medical staff, according to Pickett, knowing that this was the first time he's been in concussion protocol in his career in the NFL or college at Pitt. We have people flying here to meet with these doctors, so I know they're the best in the country. I feel great where I'm going into, or I'm at going into today, as we look at from there. Also, Matt Canada had this to say, we're going based on how things are told to us, according to Canada. We'll function accordingly. Everything's well clear and all go. So we're functioning that way. We're just taking normal steps you would take in this situation. Wide receiver Deontay Johnson likes what he's seen from Pickett. He looked good, according to Johnson. He didn't seem like nothing was wrong with him. He seemed locked in, ready to go for this week. Just normal Kenny out there bringing the same energy he brings every day. He looked good. It didn't seem like nothing was throwing him off, like he was fine throwing the ball. Steelers also, too, announced that safety Damontae Kazee returned to practice Thursday, but he remains on IR. They have 21 days to activate Kazee to the 53-man roster. If he was not activated during this period, Kazee cannot return to active roster for the rest of this season. So as we look at it right here, let's go ahead and jump right into keys to the game for a potential Steelers win tonight if they could pull this one out. Key number one for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now in this game will definitely be points off turnovers. Why do I mention points off turnovers? Well, the biggest reason why defensively right now, which by the way, defense, they're ranked number 8 in takeaways for the season, total takeaways. They're 4th in the league with 8 interceptions and have 2 fumble recoveries right there. And plus their turnover ratio is +1. I mean, still be a little bit more better. You know, it has slowly dipped since week 1 when they have start off the season with a +5 ratio. And the reason why I say that, like I said, 10 total turnovers, they got 30 points off those turnovers, which included 3 touchdowns. One of those 3 touchdowns being a pick 6 this season, which was in the opener versus the Bengals. That was by Mika Fitzpatrick. And they had 3 field goals. So they only got in 30 points off 10 turnovers. 3 touchdowns and 3 field goals, all extra points, attempts being cashed in. Offensively, too, when you flip on the other side, which they have 9 turnovers they surrendered offensively where they've given up the ball, they've allowed 16 points off those 9 turnovers right there, which includes 2 touchdowns and a field goal, all extra points being made right there. It's going to be a big thing right there. So when you look at the defensive side, I'm looking for guys tandem of corner and safety. Cam Sutton and Mika Fitzpatrick play big roles here as they lead their team with a combined 5 interceptions, 3 for Mika and 2 by Sutton here. So that's going to be key number 1 for tonight's game. Key number 2, offense, on the other hand, has surrendered, like I said, 60 points 5 turnovers, which includes 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So Steelers secondary versus Dolphins wide receiver tandem. Why is that? Well, the Steelers secondary, they're going to have to try and defend against guys like Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, who are the top 2 leading receivers for the Dolphins this season. 3 for Waddle, 2 for Hill right here. Hill's been massively impressing so far, gradually, especially being without Patrick Mahomes. He's still producing reception yard-wise, but only got 2 touchdowns to show for it. Look for that to probably bulk up a little bit more. Key number 3, leather rip. And what I mean by that, Dolphins pass defense is 26th in the league, has only 1 interception to show for it with 4 total turnovers right now, which is 30th. They have a hard time defending in the secondary. That's going to be a big thing right there as we look at tonight's game. And then the last key for this will be winning the ground game. Steelers' run defense has been slowly improving since they have jumped up 14 spots, which they finished off last season. They're 18th in the league in defending the run, allowing 120 yards gained. They've allowed 293 yards the last 3 games. 2 out of those 3 games where they kept it to under 100 yards. That's about 98 yards per game. So let me know what you think. Once again, you guys can follow me on social media, on Twitter at MansfieldCGR and on Instagram at MansfieldNation. Feel free to check out a lot of my uploads on YouTube. And you can also check me out on Anchor.fm, which shares my stuff to Mixcloud, SoundCloud, and Brico Audio, Overcast, Podcast, Radio Public, CPBC, and Spotify. So I know I'm making this one a little bit short, but feel free check me out. Sorry for being absent the last couple of weeks right here. Just had a few things to take care of, but let's win. And here we go, sirs. Here we go. I go.